Well, I'd like you all to know that there's no one I'd rather be in prison with than Mike, and all of you. So last night I bumped into Adam Bain from Twitter, and he said, Brian, can you please get Ari up on stage tomorrow? And I said, why? He said, we're having some scalability problems, and the only 2 times Ari stops tweeting are when he's asleep or on stage. So no tweeting on stage. Come on up. Ari Paparo, SVP of Product.
Thanks, Brian. So just a little color to Mike's presentation. It was actually Brian that signed up for that $29.95 offer a month. So, but you know, he has good credit. Also, a little housekeeping. So I did a little Twitter research during the break, and it turns out that it's true. Joe Apprendi does an awesome Steven Tyler impression, and apparently the whole sales force is holding up phones, videotaping it. So what we need to do is a little like crowdsourcing effort. Everyone in this room must know some collective salespeople, right? Let's get the emails going. We've got to find a copy of this thing, put it on YouTube, and the next summit, we'll highlight it, okay? Okay, on to apps. So I'm here to talk about AppNexus Apps. We are launching a really deep integration today where we're going to allow an integration and a workflow that hasn't been done previously in apps. And we're also going to be doing a bunch of demos, and we're launching 15 new apps. Collectively, I'm calling that Apps 2.0. It's the next generation of this program. It's exciting. It should be fun. And hopefully the demo gods will be with us as we do 4 in a row. So it worked in November, and we'll see. So we launched this in New York in November. I was on stage. And really the whole point of this program of AppNexus Apps is to simplify. The Luma slide, everyone talks about complexity. Everyone says, well, display is too complicated. Search is easy because we all buy it from one person. Yeah, that's easier, 2 people. So we need to simplify, right? And what I think about this is that we want to allow our advertisers, our publishers, our ad networks to bring their best of breed technologies, right? Bring them to the table and to allow them to use those without having the friction of having to make decisions about, you know, do I use this vendor or is it too complicated? Am I adding too much, you know, complexity to this media plan when I add this combination of data and technology and creatives, et cetera? So we're trying to simplify that. And the program's about simplification, but it's also about integration, right? We've always been able in the ad tech world to stitch together different solutions, either through tags or some APIs or other ways of doing that. But we wanted to take that integration to the next level, where we had really deep integrations with partners, where they're able to express what's special about their technology in a UI environment, so that if you are, for example, a data provider and have very unique ways of representing segments, you should be able to do that inside our platform in an integrated way. It's not just cutting and pasting tags or pushing pixels. It's about really expressing the best of breed in every category. But the third part's really important as well, which is innovation. When you take away a lot of the need to integrate, when you take away a lot of the complexity, you now have an opportunity to innovate. And you could say, well, let's think about our company and say, you know, we have so many smart people in our company. But there are always smarter people outside your company than in your company. It doesn't matter who you are, right? So there are innovations taking place, and we need to capitalize on that as an industry. And by having them integrated into a single workflow and a single platform, we think we can offer a lot of that. Okay, so the big question that everyone has is it working? Are people using it, right? And we're starting to get some really great feedback on that. I want to highlight a quick case study here. AdExtent, who's somewhere around, and someone could grab them here. Woohoo, AdExtent! AdExtent launched about a month or maybe 2 months ago, and they have this great sort of canvas product for developing rich media ads inside of console. They're already selling this to other AppNexus customers. We have 5 customers using it. Orbitz is seeing great success. 0 integration time. You're just live. It works. You don't have to do anything complicated. The 90% reduction in the time to launch the first campaign. So we're starting to get this anecdotal feedback. I was at the party last night, as many of you were, and I talked to a lot of people who were saying, yeah, we're actually making some business here. We're making relationships, and it's faster. I think Philip from Proximics somewhere, look for a tall, smart guy, and he was saying that he has, I think, also about 5 customers, and he was able to take a customer live with their deployment in less than 6 hours. So we're starting to see that. If you have more feedback, please give it to me or give it to our marketing department. We'd love to hear it. So more to come. All right, so when I launched this in November, I had a bunch of folks on stage. We launched with 8 partners, and they were somewhat focused on the data side of things. And people kept saying to me, is this just a data program? Because every company in the space has integrated a lot of data providers. And we had done an integration that allowed these data providers to differentiate, and that had that great UI. But there were a lot of data providers, and there are even more now. We launched in about 2 months ago. We had our second tranche of apps. I'm going to quickly call some out. Glow, that does social buying through the AppNexus console. AdExtend, I mentioned earlier. Skinected, who is a sponsor, is outside, who allows you to deploy very custom units in a standardized, scalable way, so you don't have to change the code for every publisher you work with. AppNexus Labs. So we started using the apps program in our own development so that people inside AppNexus, either in the services, product, engineering side, can deploy enhancements to our products in a very rapid fashion. So we launched 2 apps, a dashboard app and a debug app that helps people figure out whether their ads are working or not, and ExactDrive, a media planning tool. Well, today, we're launching another 15 apps, doubling the size of the app marketplace to 30. So some of the apps that were already there, like Brillig, did major upgrades, but we have new ones. So we had Mark and Mini with the European data app. I guess that was the last tranche. BlueKai, a leader in the data exchange space, who has an app that lets you kind of combine segments and otherwise really manipulate first and third-party data. Cross-Pixel Media, which is a data exchange that gives you a lot of visibility on where the data is coming from. Bearing Media, that does zip+4 targeting based on ISP data. Grapeshot, contextual vendor in Europe that does kind of uses an AdWords-like search interface for targeting keywords. The creatives, which I'm going to be showing in a minute. Avocado, I'll be showing, great rich media dynamic vendor. iReturn, Canadian rich media vendor. AdExcel, also another sort of rich media, develop your own creative platform. Alenti, who is very well known in Europe for their data visibility, ad visibility and viewability metrics. 2 leaders in the display space and in the digital space who will both be up here in a moment, comScore and Adobe. I'm really excited about that, to get that validation from these large established companies that are really focused on digital. CPX Interactive, I showed a screenshot of it in November. It's live now as a custom dashboard for their publishers so that they can see how the data is working for them. Banner Connect, a longtime partner of ours in the Netherlands, who has a dashboard also for their customers. Fresh Fruit Digital, which has a kind of a universal pixel solution. So I made some time to talk about every single one of them because there's a lot of innovation across categories. There's not just one thing I could say, oh, these guys are data providers. We have a lot of folks who are doing real deep integrations into the AppNexus Apps marketplace. So I talked about creative. When we looked at the ecosystem, we said, ironically, creative is the most creative part of the ecosystem. There's so many different people doing different things, be it dynamic creative, HTML5, all these different interesting ways in which the actual creative unit is being manipulated. And for those of you who've worked in sort of an ad ops role, you've seen that you have to spend a lot of time on creatives, cutting and pasting and moving pixels around and script tags, and they may not work, et cetera. So from a product perspective, the main thing that we're talking about today is that we have a deep creative integration, where our apps are now able to push in pixels or scripts into our creatives in a very API-controlled way that doesn't change the behavior of the ads and doesn't cause a re-audit, and it lets us eliminate that entire complex step of the workflow in the entire display ecosystem. So I'm going to start by showing our first demo. Oh, sorry, my bad. We'll start by showing our first demo, which is Avocado. So Avocado is an app that's integrated into the console that allows you to create a very rich, dynamic creative on the fly. So if your client is an e-commerce vendor like Play.com, you can basically take their site and map very quickly the category of a product, the offer title and the offer price. And basically what you're telling the Avocado app is, how do I understand this e-commerce site? I'm basically telling it what is the structure of my page, and then it's immediately going to create a dynamic rich media creative from that. and book it directly in AppNexus. So you can see here the creative was created based on a template, and it works right away. So that's a fast demo, but there's a lot of other things going on here, and it brings the power of dynamic rich media and other types of technologies to all of our clients, buy, sell, ad networks with basically a seamless integration and not a lot of work. So with that, I'm going to bring up our first speaker, Ann Hunter, the SVP of Advertising Effectiveness from comScore. I'm really excited to have comScore here to demonstrate their verification product and how it integrates very closely with the AppNexus console. So give a hand to Ann.
Well, thank you very much, Ari. What we are doing today is really the start of the way that we want to work with AppNexus. And we're going to walk you through how comScore's tagging app is integrated in, and then talk to you a little bit about where it's going to go from there. So if we can start, we're going to show you, this is what it looks like if you haven't already gone into the app marketplace and downloaded an app. If you want to add an app, comScore app is right here. There's the comScore Lego. You just select install, and it installs the app. That app is now ready to use and available to start doing work with comScore's data immediately. From here, you're going to be able to go in, select the advertiser that you want reported using comScore metrics, choose the advertiser and then the creatives that you want to have reported using comScore reporting, and very easily select what tag type you want to put on there so that you can get the reporting from comScore that you need. We've set it up so that you can go in and choose it at the campaign level or at the line item level. You can add in data that you want to add to that app, and we recommend that you add additional data fields that are relevant to you, such as the publisher or the site where that advertising is occurring. Those macros automatically take away any of the hassle involved in tagging. You select them, and automatically the campaign is tagged. Now that your campaigns are tagged, you can actually get all of the comScore reporting off of that. It's not just being able to report out on brand safety, it's all of the comScore reporting. So from that one tagging, you're going to have access in the comScore systems to the brand safety reporting, but also to the reach and frequency and brand lift, and are people interested in buying Cheerios in the future? What we're doing next is taking that reporting and making a seamless integration from the tagging to actually getting those data results for you, so that it really blends the whole idea of all aspects of the work that you do being able to work off of a single platform. And that's it.
Thanks, Ann. So no one knows more about creative than Adobe. Virtually our whole business is built around creatives that were developed with Adobe products. But a lot of you may not know about the Authenticate project. Authenticate uses their knowledge of creatives to analyze them and to get more information, which is really exciting. And you'll see this demo. It's pretty amazing. So I want to welcome to stage Alex Tsai and Sebastian Labs from Adobe, who are going to demonstrate the Authenticate app.
Thanks, Ari. We're actually very excited to be here to demo and launch our Adobe Project Authenticate app within the AppNexus marketplace. As many of you guys know, Adobe has been investing heavily in the tools and the application, helping companies innovate and build rich, beautiful, and powerful images, videos, highly engaging and interactive rich media creatives, as well as applications. In the last year, the company has started to look at the entire creative workflow ecosystem to see how we could bring about efficiencies. And one of the things that we'll be showing today is around the creative validation and testing. You guys will see that the application that we provided will help ad ops teams drastically reduce the time it takes to QA a lot of the rich interactive ads that's being built in the marketplace today. So Sebastian, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So while we're actually logging in the background here, I just wanted to give you a brief sum up of what this service is about. We aim to kind of help you get your creatives, test it against ad specs, and like faster time. This, right now it is a very error-prone and manual process, and we want to like try to and transform to get this process a little more automated and save you a little more time. So what you can see here, we deeply integrated with the AppNexus API. So from here, you can, in our app, see all your advertisers, all your creatives. You can browse them, search them, filter, stuff like that. And what you do also is you pick an ad spec, like we got the IAB ad specs here, and just simply say run test. What happens now is that we upload your creative into our highly instrumented Flash Player environment that we run on servers. And we actually run it in real time for you, streaming back all the information, all the important information that you might be interested in. So what you just saw was, for example, the CPU curve that was streamed back from our server. We also give you important information like the flash heap, OS memory, stuff like that, frame rate changes. We also generate previews for you. We do those also on the server because we wanted to have them match as accurately with the CPU curve as possible. So if you, in case you see some funky CPU spikes, that you can like scrub there and see what the heck is wrong with this Swift. So in this Swift, we actually had some analysis data come back. We got some network analysis. I think this Swift subloaded a file. You get information about the load time, the response time, stuff like that, what the media type actually is. We also catch tracking pixels and things like that. In this particular Swift, there was also involved a video. We give you the URL. It was streamed, I guess. Yes, RTMP streamed. You get the codecs. You get like all the information you need. And that's just a small fragment of all the analysis data that we can give you. There's more like, we call it scripting analysis, for example. So we can tell you, hey, what's the external interface calls that the Swift did? What are the local connection communication that happened? Things like that. We give you a static analysis, what assets are actually in that file. And based on that static analysis, we are also able to do nice little things like click tag fixing, automated click tag fixing, not only in the AS2 case, but also in the AS3 case, which is pretty nice, I guess. So we talked to a lot of ad ops QE people in the last year, I'd say, and they always told us, hey, for a Swift at that level of complexity, we need about 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes of testing time to thoroughly test it. And we just did that in 15 seconds. If you take into account now, what you see there is what we call the batch processing, meaning we not only can do that with one Swift, but we can do it with, well, multiple Swift at the very same time. And, well, I guess that kind of, everybody is able here to do the math. And I think this should be a huge time saver for you guys. And yeah, with this, I want to close it and give it back to Alex.
Right. So, you know, with this app that we're launching today, from an app standpoint, you know, our goal is to simplify the workflow. Our goal is to help the ad ops team remove the complexity. We know that, you know, all of you guys are out there building very cool interactive ads. Our job is to simplify and help the ad ops team, you know, validate against creative specs and make the process more seamless. So hopefully address, you know, cutting off a couple of days from a testing standpoint, addressing late creatives and whatnot. So that's it. Thank you.
Wow. That was pretty cool. So earlier, Brian showed the video about the Pathan, and I think the video was really exciting, but it only captured a small amount of the excitement that was around the office that day. We really are eating our own dog food, as they say in the Valley. We're close enough, I can say that. Basically, we're throughout AppNexus, the services team, the product team, the engineering team are constantly thinking, well, you know, I have a little tweak to the product, or I have an idea that maybe isn't you know, a mainstream product launch idea. So what can we do to push the envelope? So with that, I'm really thrilled to bring up two members of a fairly big team that helped build the winning app. David Crawford and Mike McNeeley, both of whom are product managers who work for me, who are going to take us through the environmental targeting app.
Thanks, Harry. So when you think about the types of targeting that are available today, you probably think about user and browser data, contextual information, and the various different forms of behavioral targeting. All of these are tried and true. But what comes next? We looked at the top 4 advertising categories on platform today, and we found that autos, travel, finance, and e-commerce consistently rank at the top. We've heard from brokerage firms that they say that their conversions dramatically rise when the stock market's volatile, either up or down. And Auto Trader released a press release that said they're seeing a correlation between high gas prices and consumers looking for small and eco-friendly vehicles. So these are both external factors that are applying and impacting the return, right? Not just what information is about the user and what web page are they on. So our team set out to build environmental targeting into the platform. So what do we mean by environmental targeting? Well, as Brian said, yes, it applies to weather. But we meant more than just that. We mean targeting based on any type of data around a user, right? Hopefully it's open data. Our team built 4 dimensions of this. So we built weather information, stock prices, gas prices, and TV programming around where a user's at. The way the targeting works is it actually turns on and off depending on where the user's located and the data that we're streaming into the data provider. So you can imagine an example where you have a campaign that's targeting snowy conditions, right? That campaign will literally only serve when it's snowy where the user's at. So luckily for us in San Francisco, we wouldn't see that. In the past, you'd be able to do this by going to a really large publisher, an innovative publisher, or a vendor. But I think we've raised the bar in 3 big ways. So first, we're talking about introducing this to all buyers and sellers on the platform. And then if a buyer decides to use environmental targeting as part of their campaigns, it'll run across all RTB supply without any additional work. The second is that we built 4 dimensions, or we're evaluating 4 dimensions. So those are the dimensions that we talked about earlier. And the nice thing is the way we built it, it's extensible. So if there's another dimension that becomes really popular or we hear demand for, we could build it in relatively easily, or someone else could build an app that does some sort of similar thing. And then last, the way we designed the app, first we wanted to make it beautiful and put it in the product. And we wanted to do it in a way that was integrated with the campaign workflow. So it's right in there. There's less friction to using it. We're really excited about it. David's going to give you a demo and talk a little bit more about how we built it. Hope you enjoy.
Thanks, Mike. So the goal of the Appathon was to show what app developers can do, not just AppNexus employees. So we made sure that we didn't make any changes to the AppNexus ad server or to the UI in order to bring this to reality. Instead, we took advantage of 2 different integration points. One's been around for a while. It's the data provider API that many of our contextual data providers use to pass dynamic targeting data directly into the auction process. We use this to pass along those open data sources that Mike mentioned. We actually went in thinking that we would just do stocks, just to simplify. We only had 6 hours. But we realized it was so kind of easy and flexible that we added 2 or 3 more data sources as the day went on. The second integration point that we took advantage of is actually an experimental new app integration. So today we launched the Creative app in Workflow apps. And that's a big step forward in seamless integration of apps. But this demo is going to give you a bit of a glimpse into the future of just how tightly integrated these apps can get. So we'll get the demo up on the screen. So here we're creating a new campaign. You can enter in all the information you normally do, and then you jump over to the targeting screen. And here we have up our app. This is actually the app right here in the center of the campaign edit workflow. So it's not a separate dialog. It's not a separate screen. It's just right in line with your campaign creation. You can select, I'm going to target rainy or sunny. We had different temperature ranges. Here you can pick a hot tech stock and say, when this tech stock is up or down significantly. We know that gets people signing up for new online brokerage accounts, so we'll target that time of day. It's just that simple. It's right next to all of the other targeting options you can still use in conjunction with your campaigns. We put this together in 6 hours. It's a functioning prototype through the ad serving and through the campaign editing. And we're excited to actually bring it to reality in the next few months. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. You guys can get back to work now. So in sum, we're launched 15 new apps, deep integrations, spawning innovation. We have a lot of the app providers here. I encourage you to reach out to them, either through their sponsorship tables or just at the lunch. We're really excited about this. We hope you are also. And we hope everyone in this room is saying either, can I create an app? Could I use these apps? Which vendor am I using that doesn't have an app that wasn't on that logo slide that I'd really like to have integrated into AppNexus because it would save me time, make things simpler, and integrate better. So with that, thank you very much.